I predicted the Bears to go 10-6 in 2019. I liked their roster. I was concerned about their new defensive coordinator. They lost Vic Fangio, their former defensive coordinator, to the Denver Broncos to be the head coach. But in the end, the Bears kept their entire offensive line. They had some solid players all around. But here's what I was really wrong about when it came to the Chicago Bears. Going into the year, I was really, really lukewarm about the Bears quarterback, Mitchell Trubisky. I was like, I think I said that I believed he would be a limiting factor, was my phrasing. I was like, Mitchell Trubisky is going to be a limiting factor, and I figured the Bears would be okay until they played a team with an elite quarterback, and then the Bears wouldn't be able to, head-to-head, if the team was an elite quarterback against Mitchell Trubisky, the Bears were going to lose. But Mitchell Trubisky was not just a limiting factor last year. He was a big problem. The Bears ended up going 8-8, and I did a film analysis about Mitchell Trubisky last year. The dude just struggled to make very basic reads. He had guys wide open and missed really easy throws. He didn't throw the ball sometimes. And the Bears' backup quarterback, Chase Daniel, actually played a couple times last year. He was very average, but Chase Daniel being very average was still way better than Mitchell Trubisky. The reason why is because he was just a lot more consistent. He threw the ball to guys who were open, took the easy plays. He just was way more consistent than Mitchell Trubisky was. And I have no doubt, I am certain that there was a lot of frustration last year in the Chicago Bears locker room. The Seattle Dragons, a similar thing happened in the XFL. The Seattle Dragons played a quarterback, Brandon Silvers, for the majority of the beginning of the year. And the Seattle Dragons locker room was furious. They're like, why are we playing Brandon Silvers? Because their backup quarterback, BJ Daniels, was way better. And in fact, when BJ Daniels finally did come into the game and play, he was great. He was way better. And they almost won a game. The locker room was not happy in Seattle. And I'm pretty sure the same thing happened in Chicago. They were not happy that Mitchell Trubisky was playing quarterback for their team because guys want to win. And Ryan Pace is the general manager of the Chicago Bears. He appears to just not be willing, at least for a long time, was not willing to admit he might have drafted the wrong guy, Mitchell Trubisky. Remember, the politics behind the scenes is that the Bears drafted Mitchell Trubisky number 2 overall in the NFL draft. And so he's gotten way more chances than I believe he should have. He's gotten a ton of patience. If Mitchell Trubisky was a 5th-round pick, he would have been benched hours ago. If he was a pick in the 7th round or an undrafted free agent or even a 4th-round pick, if he was a 2nd-round pick, right, they would have been like, it's not working, we're done. But because Mitchell Trubisky was drafted so high, they just keep giving the guy chance after chance after chance. And finally, thank you, if there's a God and he's real, then he really made this happen. Finally, the patience has worn thin in Chicago because the Bears have traded for quarterback Nick Foles from the Jacksonville Jaguars. And Nick Foles is not an amazing quarterback. He's definitely better than Mitchell Trubisky. And if Mitchell Trubisky has any moments where he's not quite up to snuff next year, he will get benched because Nick Foles is there. He's ready. He's got a relationship with the head coach. Remember, Matt Nagy, the head coach of the Bears, and Nick Foles have worked together before in Philadelphia and then again later in Kansas City under Andy Reid. And Nick Foles will be ready for the moment Mitchell Trubisky is not good enough. And I think the Bears are going to have a quarterback change very early next year. And I can't wait for that moment because Mitchell Trubisky for a long time has been holding them back. And the dude held back the Bears last year. He's the reason why they went 8-8 and underperformed. It's because Mitchell Trubisky was not a good enough quarterback and didn't make enough plays when it mattered most last year. He's their problem. And I think that problem is soon going to end in Chicago. I am excited for that day. Again, I don't hate Mitchell Trubisky, right? People think I root against people. I don't root against anybody. I'd love to see Mitchell Trubisky be phenomenal, but I hate bad quarterback play. And watching the dude fail over and over and over again without consequences has driven me nuts. I don't hate Trubisky the person, but Mitchell Trubisky the quarterback has not been good enough, and I'm ready for that guy to be out of town. He's just not good enough. And I'm not a Bears fan. I have no stake in that game. But I don't like watching quarterbacks play badly and hurt their team. And that's exactly what Mitchell Trubisky's been doing. And his locker room, the people around him, who are tired of losing have to be frustrated. They're ready to move on. And so I hope that Mitchell Trubisky gets benched next year because he's maybe he plays great and he proves everybody wrong. But in the last couple of years, he has repeatedly cost his team victories. And I'm ready to see him done in Chicago. In case you don't know, Strong Opinion Sports is not just a YouTube channel. It is also a full audio podcast. You can find it on Spotify, on iTunes, on Google Play, pretty much everywhere you find podcasts. And if you like podcasts, please do me a huge favor and give it a listen.